I think key achievements for me is completing the programs. So, I've done a lot of programs in the past, and I think like they're all good in their own ways, and I won't name drop, but like they're all good in their own ways, but they're all like very one dimensional. For me, I think completing the program was actually on the face of it, and I'll say it ended up being easier than I thought it was going to be, and it was very much more like kind of this domino effect where you introduce stuff as the program gets more difficult, and I won't drop any hints, but like once you start overcoming all of these hurdles, you start going like, okay, I can do this.
Sam, before we jump off, do you want to introduce yourself, who you are, what do you do, where you're based?
Yeah. So obviously Sam Wiltshires. Where am I based? I'm based in Canada, so Nova Scotia. What do I do? So I'm currently a director, and I work for a financial technology company in Canada.
What was your motivation for getting in touch and having a chat? Back when we first sort of spoke to each other. Let's talk about that.
I think for me, but I mean, everything was going great in my life. I'm ticking all those boxes that everyone wants to tick. But honestly, I think deep down there was a big part missing in my life. There was, they say like it's all about fulfillment, really. And I think I was at that stage in my life where I had to ask a few questions, dig a bit deeper, ask some questions about myself, maybe address some things that I've been avoided.
What have been your key achievements, or what's been the big things that you've taken and you've got from coming through the program?
I think key achievements for me is completing the programs. So, I've done a lot of programs in the past, and I think like they're all good in their own ways, and I won't name drop, but like they're all good in their own ways, but they're all like very one dimensional. And I think that's the thing as well. Like for me, I think completing the program was actually on the face of it, and I'll say it ended up being easier than I thought it was going to be, and it was very much more like I suppose it's kind of this domino effect where you introduce stuff as the program gets more difficult, and I won't drop any hints.
Cool.
But like once you start overcoming all of these hurdles, you start going like, okay, I can do this. I didn't think I'll be able to do that. Now I can do it.
What would you say, like, if we look back, what were I guess the key learnings that have allowed you to be in that objective state, not reactive, leading the family? Like, what do you think, if you can name a couple of things that has helped you during the process to get to that sort of place?
Definitely, it's probably the relationship between which I knew was there anyway, but not at this level. The relationship between sort of like mental wellness, physical health, accountability, and I suppose those are the key things. I think it's the link between all of them that is so important, because it really does build a foundation for everything else. And I think not only that, but also the layers below that, like what actually feeds into those pillars. So what is important? What impacts how you view yourself? How accountable are you to yourself? And what does that impact as well? So if your physical health isn't there, your mental health's not there, which includes again like accountability and things like that, then what are the issues? What are the issues there? How can you address that? That's, I say, for me, those are the key learnings, the relationship between all of them.
What would you say was the most surprising thing, or the thing that I didn't really expect that of having worked together?
I'd say the more mental side of it. I think I've always considered myself to be extremely strong mentally. I would say but I think as and this is again only speaking for myself, as I've got older, you have to deal with the demons that you haven't dealt with before. And how do you deal with them? And how do you? I think as you get older as well, you sort of, again, trying to talk about myself because I'm getting older. It's like you think these things don't bother you, things that have happened, but they actually do. Yeah. And they don't, and they manifest themselves in ways that you didn't realize. And then I think for me, it was that how deep that can go, and I think that's what surprised me. It was this, and not only that, but there is a solution to it as well. Because I don't think I don't think many of us are taught how to deal with particular things or how to process.
Yeah.
And processing, I think that was key for me. Things that I didn't think were going to make that much of an impact actually made a lot of impact.
If anyone was watching this, they were like on the fence about working with a coach. Maybe they've looked at some of my stuff, or just generally thinking, "Oh, I'm not quite where I want to be," but they're not sure about engaging with someone. What would you say to them?
I'd say, first of all, there's no harm in having a chat, right? If you've got to this stage and you're probably watching this, you're probably already at the point where you're sitting on the fence going, okay, you know, you're exploring your options. There's absolutely no harm with having a chat with you, Luke. And I think the other thing as well is that, you know, there's so many of these now. I think so many people have provided feedback, and it's not just like, I think people, if you're one of those people where you're looking at and there's a gap in your life and you can't figure out what it is, I think that there's no harm in having a chat. And if anything, it may change absolutely the whole way you look at everything, which is awesome. You know, it's better to take a risk than not take a risk. And then all you've got to do is complete it.
Yeah. And then net result, we are where we are, right? That's
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Sam. So, look, like I said, I don't want to take any more of your time. Sam, thank you for your time. I hope anyone's watching's got a lot of help and insight from that. If anyone is watching, they're interested in having a chat, they'd like to speak to me about what me and Sam were chatting about, you know, drop me a note in the comments or drop me a DM. We can book in a quick call and see where you're at. On that note, Sam, have an amazing Christmas. It's been a pleasure chatting as always, mate. Continue smashing it. Anyone else, have a great Wednesday and enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Thank you.
Cool.
Cheers.